Content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Okay. Welcome to another episode. Another one. Yes. What's up, lady? How you doing?
I'm well. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Wonderful. You know, America's interesting. You know how it is, and I'm enjoying the interest.
The interest. You know, it's never boring. It's never boring.
Yeah. It's America never starts sleeping until somebody put it to sleep in a chokehold. But that's how we do. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, elbow. Get an elbow it.
Talking to one of my friends. I'm talking to one of my friends in the disaster preparedness community. And of course, he always giving me the doom and gloom, but it is what it is. He's a scientist. That's all he's connected to. And I just laughed at him and I said, "Thank you for that, sir. And I'll talk to you another time." Thank you for that.
You've enlightened me. Now I'm going to go up level my vibration.
Aton Edwards is something else. He's, him and Kendall, they're two opposites of the same coin, but she's funny. He's morbid. Great combination. We got 2 minutes before we bring on the guest that you have from out of Canada. I haven't yet.
Yes.
Yes. You're gonna bring them on. You know what to do. Introduce them.
Absolutely. And you guys have a lot in common in terms of like on-here personality back in the day. So without further ado,
we got 2 minutes. We got 2 minutes. Let's talk. Okay. Unless you got a long dissertation.
No.
We do want to talk about what's coming up next, of course. What we got coming up next on this show? We got our dear friend Dr. Sunyata Amen coming in.
Yes.
Michael Vybez Show, and she's on Karen Hunter. Karen Hunter is my girl. I used to work with her on WWRL. I used to work with this lady in the disaster preparedness community back in the day, but she's also Calabash recipient of her Calabash teas. I drank a lot of her teas already. I can't wait till she come on. And then we got this beautiful sister from Nairobi's Vision, right?
Yes.
She's from Toronto, right?
Yes.
Oh man, you got the Toronto crew in the building. That's right. And I do want to remind people to, we're going to be at the Forbidden Knowledge Award show coming up. I'm one of the nominees, Billy Carson's and Elizabeth Carson's event for television hosts on their network. So we're going to be there on April the 3rd and the 4th network. Okay. And I heard Michael Bethwick is coming. Michael Bethwick is coming. Is coming. A whole bunch of people is coming. So that's going to be a beautiful thing just to know who's who and what's what, and keeping it moving, Mm-hmm. I understand. You said my mic is low.
Mm-hmm.
No, it seems like I got everything going here. Everything is up to par here, so I maybe just have to speak up. and project. That's all. I just have to speak up and project. So, what we got coming up next, my dear? Tell the audience who we got coming in right now. Come on.
We have Kerry Lee Crawford. And if you're from Canada, you know him as Steps After Dark. He's a renowned television producer, music composer, on-air radio host, and expert in the field of media marketing and promotion. He's been dedicated to uplifting, enlightenment, and empowerment of marginalized individuals. Some of his career highlights are he helped to launch careers of very popular music artists, including Grammy Award winner Sean Paul. Y'all know who he is. Glenn Lewis.
I used to work with his manager, Steve Wilson. Steve
Awesome.
Wilson back in the day. So back to be a
Julie
Steve.
Black. And Cardinal Official. And just his resume is incredible. He helped to launch as a founding member of the Multi-Canadian Academy of Recording Artists and Sciences, the Juno, nominated platinum and gold-selling Baby Blue sound crew. Kerry Lee joined the world of talk radio and news media as a radio host, consultant, contributor, and writer, with topics spanning from politics, finance, government, sports, and entertainment. During that time, he appeared on and produced broadcast programs for various networks such as the Discovery Channel, Sportsnet, and The Score, while lending his voice to the CBC Radio One, the Sports Network TSN, Raptor Channel, Canada's first Black television station, F.E.V.A, and Canada's first Black-owned radio station, G98.7 FM. So we are excited to welcome onto the Healing Vybez, Kerry Lee Crawford.
Welcome. How are you? You're on mute, sir. You're on mute. I think you said, yeah. Turn off your mute. There you go.
I was echoing, so I wanted to make sure everything was good. But yeah, awesome. Hey, good to be here for Healing Vybez. I think that's like the best introduction, Kerry, in a long time. So I'm like, did I do that? Oh yes, doing that. Thank you for that. Is that still in my bio? All right, awesome. That's one love.
Awesome.
I appreciate you guys having me, and I do appreciate what y'all is doing. Right, but you guys keep on shining the light and fighting the fight. You know what I mean?
Thank you very much. But let's give that a round.
It's funny. The applause sound like they're struggling today.
They're good. now, are you from Canada originally, or are you?
I'm from Canada, and I've lived, of course, spent a lot of time abroad in the U.S. Went to school in the Windsor, Detroit area for years. Lived in Maryland. I was in D.C. for a little bit. Spent my share of time in New York, New Jersey, and as well in L.A. as well. And so in the Valley, the Valley of the Sun. So been around, and yes, Steve Wilson. I remember Steve very, very well. Obviously, the whole Sean Paul crew from the early days. So we got a lot of work in, did a lot of things, and Sean continues to. So kudos to him, and you know what, he certainly has had a tremendous body of work throughout the years, and so just to be able to play the small part, in that whole insurgence of the culture. The Caribbean culture, it was, it's a beautiful thing to behold and to continue to witness. And again, 20 years he celebrated last year, right? The 20 year. That's big. And so
he's now featured in a documentary with Shaggy, who I went to school with. We went to Erasmus back in the day with Shaggy, a Brooklyn documentary about Brooklyn dance hall. So they released that, and I grew up with those guys, the whole, all of that, Biltmore Ballroom and doing things. I used to.
Okay.
Oh my gosh! Don't be modest. You have a hit song that was on the radio.
We interviewing him, so let's not.
Okay. Hey, but that's interesting to me, because did you know Big Joe? Big Jizzo.
Of course I know Big Joe. Yeah,
Oh, that's my dude. Big Joe, that's my peoples, man. Shouts
So
out to Big Joe.
We used to run that Biltmore and
Biltmore, oh my goodness, he take me down. He take me down memory lane.
Nightclub and all that. Legend Nightclub. We was all there.
Oh my
I've been doing
goodness.
that for a while from back in the day. 'Cause I used to be a singer too. I was a reggae artist. So I was number 5 on the chart with Clinton Lindsay and them back in the day. So
Okay.
we stopped doing all that. But that's why I know, all of these guys. I was performing before these guys. So it's good to know, 'cause I used to live in Montreal too. So I used to do C-Cut, all those radio stations out there with Howard Kerr and all the rest of them out there. So
man.
I know back in a lot of the radio.
CIUT, and who is it? So Shaggy. What's my man from Montreal? That used to tour with Shaggy. He's a vocalist.
You mean
Carl
Rick
Henry?
Rock? Not Rick Rock, Kendrick.
Oh man, it's all good. It's just my
He
man.
he had Ray-Von.
Oh.
We did college tours back in the day when we were younger. We go back to dance halls and hookie parties. That's how deep we
Okay. All right. So that's what's up. That's serendipitous for sure. That's incredible.
Exactly.
So you laid the foundation for everything that is and that came afterward, right?
After we get robbed in this business, I went to the radio after that.
Okay. Yeah. After they jack your publishing, did they get your publishing?
I had to let them come to me after that. You gonna come to me?
Okay. Hey, well, that's hilarious because that's the way it was, and people don't even understand. Before you got your publishing, just automatically, people had to fight a fight in order just to bring the light to the fact that people's publishing was being jacked. Right?
And they was trying to kill people for the publishing.
Absolutely.
They tried to kill. I remember they tried to kill Super Cat. They actually went at him. While he was going through his house.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Super Cat is a bad man from back in the day, so he carried his gun, and when they tried to whip out, he whipped back out.
He's ready. Yeah, he's ready. Yeah, he's ready.
What I don't understand is why. Like, what was
money?
Money, sister.
Money. Yeah. Money.
Always money, my dear.
Yeah.
Believe me.
And that was big money when people realized how publishing worked.
Yeah.
Right. And the fact that, hold on, that's what people didn't know. Hold on, I get paid every time this joint plays, no matter where in the world it plays. I get royalties off of that. Oh my goodness.
They try to kill Burning Spear. I was working with Burning Spear years ago.
Oh, come on.
They try to kill Burning Spear, brother. We believe they killed off Dennis Brown. We believe they killed off
Yeah.
The miner just died mysteriously. So it was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? But we know it was money, as you're saying, and I said, money.
Yeah, I did a news story on even, how perhaps maybe it was 10 or 12, maybe even 15 years ago, there was a barrage of stories of this artist died, but they didn't really die, and this artist died, but they didn't really die. Because you know what happens is, if they can bring to the courts evidence that you've passed, and as much as just even newspaper articles, they could claim for your royalty publishing, right?
Yes,
exactly. They could claim that, they died, so now we're gonna file, for that was so you're like, why were all these rumors coming out about people dying, right?
Yeah,
and it might be in the most remote part of the country, of the world. You don't even know. We used to get checks from places. I'm like, where's that country? I've never heard of that, but I will cash it, right? What recording agency? What publishing is that? Okay, SoCan. Okay, ASCAP. What is it? What is it?
Exactly. And people that are just tuning in, we're here with Kerry Lee Crawford, man.
Hey, what's up? Hey, what's going on?
Music producer, on-air radio host. Got an upcoming book called Weapons of Mass Deception and Accidental Intentions. Now, is that book going to be about what we're talking about a little?
It's a tad bit of music, but it's more my post music experience. And so I did have an interesting experience, in the music realm and world. And so I did subtract myself out of that equation for some time. And I went into what I actually went to school for, which was broadcast, and my degree, my bachelor is criminology.
Okay.
my field of study. And so even when I was involved and immersed into the world of music, I also had, I was in university. I was working and doing all types of, I guess, background work and research for the people I worked with. Most notably, I got a lot of my training post graduation from CBC Radio 99.1. And so I used to run stories on there where, you know, some of them were the cat stuck in the tree story. That's just the stuff that, you know, but there were some that, you know, had a little bit of meat and potatoes to it, right? I did a news story on homophobia in Jamaica in 2004, and got to interview some big names and got to talk to the Beanie Man and Director X, you know, Director X.
Those old brethren, I love that. I know some old brethren. We was battling against them back in the day. I'll tell you the truth. We was going at it.
Okay. Oh, really? Was that the Shocking Vibes? Shocking Vibes.
Remember Buju got stopped too. You remember Buju got into arguments also, Kirpatan. All of us was right there at that time singing those types of songs. You know, the whole against homosexuality and all that. Like, that's a law in Jamaica. That's a law in Jamaica. So that's what we grew up.
That's that. You know, Mad Cobra was there. They used to burn on fire. I mean, so anyway, that's just one of so one of the many news stories that we did. And you know, the whole interest from my lens was, you know, oftentimes we talk about what it is instead of why it is, right? So you know, we report on and speak about the symptom, right, and not the cause of the disease. And so being able to tell certain stories and to investigate the basis behind certain sentimentality was essentially, you know, my birthing and coming out of age, out of, you know, the adolescence of just partying and then turning up and flying all over the world, to trying to understand a little bit more about that world that I was flying around in, because it amazed me some of the distinctions and some of the prevailing attitudes and how it differed depending on what part of the world you were in. And then, you know, you go back to your education and to think about, it's the social construct, right? It's the cognitive construct and the mass propagation, right? And then of course, you know, you take that next step further. Well, okay, if these things are distinctly different based on the geography of it, what are the contributing or influencing factors behind, you know, those distinctions? And of course, what is the interest, right? What is the motive, right? Why are those entities, you know, advocating for whatever prescribed perceptual reality that they were in? And so for me, the weapons of mass deception and accidental intentions is a trip through time and through space, you know, traveling around the world and looking at a lot of the revelations that are now manifesting right now. However, there's been people who have been talking about it for 20-25 years, right? And I got to hang out and interview Alex Jones, you know.
Alex Jones? Okay, my bad.
Yeah. You know,
what was that like?
Yeah. So listen, I'm a pretty studious individual. I like to think, you know, that I'm pretty learned. Like I like to read, you know, and that guy, his historical fact, I felt like I was in kindergarten, right? Yeah. I was like, I've been in university for a long time. I studied for a long time at a very high level, at least I like to think. And just his general knowledge on history is just like, we're talking about, you know, Malcolm X, and he's naming his bodyguards.
Really?
This guy's breaking it down. And this guy was, you know, he was a CIA plant. So this guy was, and he's giving you names. Like I would know that, you know, the CIA had a plant, you know, Malcolm X's, you know, head of security was a CIA.
Gene Roberts or something like that.
And man, he's like, he's giving you a background on this guy. And then before he,
Yeah.
before Kerry, he was protecting Malcolm X, he was also on the detail that I was like, my God,
Yep.
right?
Oh, he know his stuff, man. He's well researched,
Yeah.
man. He knows his
And
stuff.
so, I call it seasoning for the soup, right? Like if the soup was all was seasoned with salt, you know what I mean, it would obviously be bland. So you need different spices and different and for me those spices are perspective from different walks of life and insight and experiences that allowed me to round out a very specialized perspective based on my ethno-cultural identification, being Caribbean Canadian, and the distinctions that we have even from a historical basis. And talking about we say, for example, we say Black History Month. Well, just because we Black doesn't mean we have the same history. We do have a history, but our histories are distinctly different. So if you say right, it's like, hey, you're Black, you're supposed to be doing this for Black. I'm like, well, hold on, you don't know where my roots are, where my ancestry lie, and looking at the fact that we know that there were Black people indigenous to North America way before the slave trade. We all know this, right? Like all the Black people in North America came through the slave trade. No, right? We know about the native basis of Black.
But you know what, Kerry, to be fair, not many people know of that. I was 2020 years old when I learned that.
Oh, she said 2020.
Like I learned, became awoken to so many things in that was my,
And they used to put it in books. Like William Katz used to write about it with the Black Indians. I have the book, from back in the day. Del Jones back in the day. Those guys, was going back to Culture Vulture and where it all stemmed from and everything. And of course, being around Dr. John Henry Clark and Dr. Ben back in that day, although they was pushing towards Africa, but they themselves was Geechee Gullah. Some of them was, some of them understood the Maroons of America and the Maroons of the Caribbean.
Right.
Professor Smalls and all of them understand that. It's just that, I think a lot of people don't realize that we was just, Dr. Khalid. I remember bringing Dr. Khalid to Canada years ago, back in the 90s, right?
Oh, man.
To Canada. Yeah, he spoke. We had him at Concordia. And I got banned from Canada because of Doc. So, Doc was my boy. We was close like that. So he used to always call me. I was helping with the study group in Canada that time, Nation of Islam. But we brought him to Canada. He said, man, he said the original people was all over this planet, not just one place. That's what he used to say. So he used to always bring that. And I think a lot of people was afraid of what Dr. Khalid was bringing. So we knew he got taken out of this planet, off of this planet. For the thing that he was willing to stretch his thoughts and his mind and study and bring it to, bring it to light in these different lectures and all that stuff, and willing to implement it if he had to. That's just how he was.
Absolutely. And that was back then. You got banned back then. Imagine what would happen now. Oh my goodness.
That's why I can't come to Canada.
Bank account be frozen.
Right?
Bank account be frozen.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Given your educational background is in broadcasting, journalism is your thing. You studied that. You love to talk. You love to share. You love to share your wisdom, your knowledge. How did what you witnessed and I'm sure experienced in 2020, 2021, how did that shed or change your viewpoint on your, your educational leaning, the institution that has given you an accreditation? How did that make you feel?
Well, they don't take my phone calls anymore. If that's what you're asking. I knew it was coming, in the sense that I knew something was coming, because, say, for example, I would normally get 15 or 20 invitations to appear on this show or to do this show or to do this. And the invitations started to lessen. So they started to try to more direct the nature of the discussion and what we were looking to do. I was probably doing, December 2019, I was probably doing 20 hours on air a week. And it went from 20 hours to, around the time that Kobe passed away, went from 20 hours to probably like an hour, 2 hours. And so imagine this. I had FaceTime with, Barack Obama, right? Whatever people think, love or hate him, whatever. I had FaceTime with Barack Obama. And so I'm like, listen, I got this tape, I got FaceTime with Barack Obama. I'm going back to this radio station. This is they're about to market this for a week. And like, Kerry Lee Crawford, live with the 44th president of the United States, Barack Obama. I'm like, this is about to be epic. These guys, nothing. These guys didn't, no commercials, this week on the show, Barack Obama, nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Nothing. To the point where sometimes we would pre-record our show, right? We would pre-record it and just schedule it, in the system and go do what we were doing. I had to play the show. It was still pre-recorded, but I had to play it live myself because I strongly felt that if I was not there physically to watch it play, that something would have happened. Like I strongly felt like there were prevailing sentiments within the building that were predicated on limiting the scope of my reach, my volume, and my impact.
Wow.
And I mean, ratings were strong. The whole time I was at that particular radio station, I was 1-2 in ratings, right? Top 1-2 the entire time. And real life talk, real life experience, and just candidness. I was like, the radio personalities are supposed to have this thing that they invented back in the olden days called personality. Right? Go figure, poof, right?
Exactly.
And they've been extracting that. And it's why some of these, people that you hear kind of sound just like Memorex right now. It sounds like it's like watching paint dry, right? It's just like they're there and you can tell they're saying something, but the personality has left the chat. And and so I say that as to answer your question, Kerry, that I already was extraordinarily leery. I've been following Dr. Robert Malone for some time. I got to interview as well on a couple of occasions, Robert Kennedy Jr. Right? And
I hung out with him at this vaccine thing.
The vaccine. So
him and I did it.
There's an amazing documentary. Was it Dr. Zelenko? I can't remember who did it. There was
I think so.
It might have been 2014. There was an amazing documentary that came out, and they talked about the adverse impact of vaccines on children, and specifically based on your genealogy, right? So your gene, your genetics, and how it impacted. These vaccines were sorely more or less effective, harmful, more or less harmful based on your your DNA, your genetic makeup.
Well, Brother Crawford, let's not go down that road. These people.
Okay.
Leave that one. I just mentioned him real quickly, but let's leave that alone here because these guys out here in America,
they don't play. Well, so that's
they taking down channels for that.
That's crazy. And that's not surprising. So I would just say that that 2014 study, I saw it leading up to, right. So when 2020 happened, I was like, this is exactly how it's been trending. And for people who are in that space, in that sphere, I just thought, again, I always say, don't shoot the messenger, right? I didn't do I'm not a police officer. I'm not a doctor. I didn't do these investigations. All I did was read the investigations that these doctors and police officers and these officials and committee reports, all I did was read them. That's it, right? I read them, and that they were vetted at the high, at the highest level. And so I say all that is to say that it didn't change much for me, other than to recognize more the nature of the times that we are now residing, right? So
right,
and a lot of people don't realize that the dynamics of Black radio has changed also. Over the years, we've been in it. I was hired by Bob Law back in the day on radio, and Bob Law was one of the ancient of days, along with Gary Bird and Frankie Crocker and those guys back in the day. I worked with a lot of those guys when I was young. So now the impact of Black radio in Canada. How is that going? What's the strength of Black radio in Canada right now? I don't remember hearing it when I was living out there in the 90s.
It's in my book, it's in my book, and we detail that, what is the first radio station in the United States. People talk about how racist the United States is.
Right,
1949, their first broadcast, radio launches. 1949, they had black broadcasts in the United States.
That's right.
When did we get it in Canada? Like 2001?
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
2000? People on the low, and I love Canada, but there's a lot of things that people don't realize about it. It's covert in many respects. There's a lot going on that is now coming to light, and it's the hyper racism. You talk about systemic racism. It's here. It is diabolical. To the extent. And so I would just say that Black radio in Canada, first station at 2000 and 2001. That lasted 5 or 6 years, was sold. And that was minority Black owned. That was like 49% Black owned. Denham Jolly owned 49% of the radio station. But the other owner, just in case you got out of line, we can pull the plug on it. We got majority. And then it wasn't until they did pull, right? It wasn't until 2010 that a majority Black owned radio station, which was Karn, got its operating license, and that ran successfully for about 10 years until, of course, they do what they do. They send people that look like you after you, all right, in order to encumber and undermine and to target. And I said you look like me, and you position yourself, like you hold and harbor the same values, but you have an ulterior interest, and certainly a motive that. And so I say that is to say that Black owned radio station was sold to a non-Black in 2020, and right now we're going around the mulberry bush again. So we're doing the landscape has changed, but we've got applications and petitions in, and we're looking to bring back Black owned with Black culture, right? And it's not just the music. We all know 1,000 ways to skin a cat. There's 1,000 different expressions within the the Black and ethno-cultural identification of what is Black. What does it mean? What is Black culture? There's so much to it, and it's not represented in the way that it was here, and the way certainly it should be.
Right. Wow, powerful. Let's get that around.
Yeah.
Kerry, you wanted to ask me something.
No, there's just around, the reason why you created the book. Give us a little insight. Give us a little teaser as to overall why now?
Right. There's power in numbers, but we're only as strong as our weakest link.
That's right.
Right. And so entities, organizations, or individuals, they focus on their weakest link. And so what I try to encourage people to do is just focus on themselves and not being the weakest link, right? We can't control what goes on outside us, but we can control how we respond to it, who we consort with, what we conform to, what we object to, what we abstain from, what we engage in. And so with the book, the idea was to highlight certain considerations that maybe had not been previously made known to individuals, and in other respects, things that we did know, but never considered the implication, cause and effect, action, reaction.
Right.
And so there are, a lot that has gone on, and we all know this. It is, in the last 3, 4, 5 years, to our world, to small business, to very specifically targeted demographics within, our communities, the disproportionately high overrepresentation of certain individuals, entities, and ethnicities within certain statistical spheres or spaces. And again, the example, I know I can't say the word on here, as you said, but it's just, disease seemed to affect, these people, at a disproportionately high, over-representation level. And again, then you do a little checking and you're like, well, hold on, but isn't that the same with, diabetes? Isn't that the same with cancer? Isn't that the same with it's like, wow, we are overrepresented in 6 of the main 8 diseases. Well, why is that? Is that dietary? Is it cultural? Like, what is going on? And so for me, it's not an analyzing of that, like this is why it's happening, but it's more to ask the question, did you know? Were you aware of the adverse effect that your diet may be having, on your body, on your physiology? And the fact that fingerprints, we all have them, but no 2 are the same, meaning that even if that person can engage in that particular, practice, you may not be able to, right? For example, cannabis, right? Marijuana, whatever you want to call it, it's going to impact people in different ways. If you have a history of schizophrenia in your family, right, it may affect you differently than an individual who does not have a history of schizophrenia.
Right.
Exactly.
In your family. And so it's just
so funny. That makes so much sense. And I've said this to so many people who look like me. They're melanated and they don't have a healthcare professional who looks like them or ever. And that is so important because we are actually different. We're actually different culturally, in our makeup. So we need, so that's so important to alert people.
And I just think about it. Anyone who's ever had a teacher that looked like them, think about the impact that having that teacher had. I remember I know his first name, his middle name, his last name. I know like right. And the first role model that I had that was looked upon in a positive light, right? He was an educator, and he had an impact on hundreds of us who had never seen a Black man in that role before, right? Yeah. And responsible for hundreds of kids, Black, going to university, post-secondary education. This one guy who then, of course, he created a bit of a movement. But my point is this, that's an educator, very important. So think about, what a doctor who understands, your ethnocultural composition. And so you might be predisposed to an ailment that they're going to say, hey, I know you're craving, I know it's a long weekend coming this weekend. I know you fitting to get into some, but abstain, brother, abstain, sister, because now I know not just how to diagnose your body, but I know how to diagnose the psychology, right? I know how you think. And so the book, we explore a lot of cultural attitudes. We talk about the weapons of mass misinformation, right? So how propagation works, how divide and conquer works, and our such a beautiful culture, that we've had and experienced for so long, and what's continuing to transition and the spiral down the rabbit hole. There was some concerning video that came out of Philadelphia just the other day. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it's just like, what aspect of Black culture is this? I didn't get the memo. I must have missed it, right? Right. And so
I didn't see that. I have to go look.
Oh yeah, I didn't want to give any light to what the title is or what was being celebrated. I would just say that it was Black people. I'm like, what are y'all doing out here anyway? Like, what? Right? So it's like, but who am I? I'm like, look, live your life.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Live your life, do what you're doing. I'm not judging until you start punching me. Okay, pause. Right? And I'm like, how am I supposed to feel about this? Like, this makes no sense to me. And so I endeavor to bring a sensibility to the misconstruction or the social constructions of the Black experience in America, North America, the identification. We all know the stories about of our leaders and how they continue to be subverted in various, and first they were just killing them, right? And then how that evolved to say, okay, well, they're on to us now. They're realizing that that shooting wasn't an accident or didn't happen in the way that we presented it. So let's find other and alternate ways to disrupt the influence of these positive individuals, leaders, and revolutionaries within our communities and what have you. And so many of those whose voices need to be heard have been unduly silenced, and it's been, successive, right? So it's not new. It's something that we've known has been occurring, but they're just becoming increasingly proficient with it. And so I feel like the reason why, Kerry, I appreciated the vibes, the Healing Vybez invitation, is because when people have a certain level of vibration, as you talked about, that we need to vibrate together. We need to take our vibration and bring that into culmination, so we can continue to work and move forward and enlighten people and open people's eyes, and at least, if anything, just get them thinking a little bit differently. Just give them an alternate narrative to perhaps what they've seen more prevalent and inundated with, and what have you. And that's what I appreciate. Any medium that does that, hey, I always have time, because we need this, and I know that the traction will continue to grow and build, because it's like food for the soul. It's sustenance. Right?
Thank you for that. And you mentioned. Oh, sorry.
No. I was just going to give him a round of applause. Remind everybody that we're speaking with Kerry Lee Crawford. He's our guest, renowned Canadian television producer, music producer, and on-air personality. And of course, his upcoming book is called Weapons of Mass Deception and Accidental Intentions. And don't forget, his IG is scrolling on the bottom here, with his IG at step_after_dark. So make sure you go to his IG. So, because we're looking for a website, and I want to make sure that when your website come out, you got to let
July 1st. Canada Day.
That is
Canada Day. Beverly.
You have to have me back.
Lord of mercy. Not Canada Day.
Lord of mercy. We're there now.
Yeah, you're right. So I don't know. What do you feel about this? They say you mentioned something about, how we identify. And I have been thinking about that for some time now. The identification with Blackness. And they have used that as a weapon to segregate and put us in these categories, the caste system, in a sense. So what do you think about completely creating a new paradigm for the people who are looking for an identification, a connection? Do you think that's something that would help to change the trajectory of what is happening to people who look like us?
Absolutely. And I think it's, why podcasts and programs and mediums and broadcast like this, it's vital to that construct, and why solidarity, the one thing that we haven't done well traditionally from the Canadian side, is connect well both internationally and of course across borders, right? We don't network that well, because it's like, if you're of the same sex, like, it's more difficult for a guy to approach a guy, especially with certain connotations associated. It's just not, it's incongruent, as the saying goes. And so, it was hard, even from a music standpoint, for us to really connect the way we could have, should have, at the time when we were really up and really, doing crazy things. We have, family, and we have, connections that we obviously were able to build on, but, it could have been that much more if we had been a little more assertive in seeking out, engaging, and nurturing those relationships. And that's what I think we've learned from that. Made some money. Don't get me wrong. we got some hits. We did all right. But it could have been much more than what it was at that time. And fortunately, everybody came after. Drake came after, but we definitely did pave the road with Carnal and Mr. Mims and things that we were able to do. Baby Sham and Sean Paul, the things that we were doing in the 2000s. With those cats, Elephant Man, and the music that we did with them in the early 2000s really did help to bring a legitimacy to what was going on in Canada. And of course, opened up many doors that had previously been closed to us. And so, I say that as to say that that's why I'm here, and that's why I really am humbled by the invitation, because I will low key creep just to see what you posted. I'm like, what's Kerry-Ann? What's Healing Vybez? What are they talking about today? What's going on? And
we tried it in the 90s too, man. Because remember if you remember that, we was trying to connect with this comedy just for laughs back in the day. A lot of the comedians, some of my friends was over there. My cousin is Freaky D in Montreal, the rapper.
Oh, Freaky! Oh, come on.
That's my cousin. Yeah, that's my cousin Shireen. That's my cousin. So from Native New Yorkers agency over there. So those are my family members over there. And so we was making those connections. We was going back and forth between each other. Matter of fact, I used to perform out there and then try to bring some of them over to America. But you know how America can get kind of And that mixture didn't work. But I was still trying to do it even with the Nation of Islam while I was in the Nation at that time, trying to bring the Dr. Khalid and the Dr. Benz was coming over there for Concordia and McGill University. We're trying to make those connections.
No wonder why they banned you. No, I'm playing. I don't know. You put oh man. Oh, gee.
Yeah, I got arrested too, sir. I got arrested one time. So they don't want that energy because I was coming there. I've been coming there since I was a child. So Caribbean parents they send you to Jamaica.
Of course,
and that's what was happening. So.
Yeah, of course. Go to Canada, see how clean it is. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Go, everybody polite. Everybody polite.
I'm off the floor in Canada. Really? I'm more than like as a child. I probably tried it.
Oh, come on. That was the Urban Exchange program. I used to love that. That was Urban Exchange. I'm like, I'm going to Brooklyn. I'm going to Brooklyn. I'm out of here. Like, I'm gonna come back. I came back, knew how to break dance. Come on.
With the American twang.
Yeah, with the twang on. I was like, hey, what you talking about? What you know about the Fat Boys? What you know about that?
And Canadians eat that stuff up. As a matter of fact, we did Caravana in '93, and I was doing security for Buju, and he had just started locking, so he had rubber bands on his feet. So we was doing security for Buju and MC Light and CC Feniston. So we was doing security because I was in the Nation at that time. So they had us. They had us there at the big stadium back in the day in '93. So
Lamport Stadium.
Lamport
Stadium. We were out there. And again, foundational, groundational, right? That was, for us, we were just getting into the game. We were just getting, our shoes, our feet wet. And ironically, we had to leave Toronto. We didn't really get on. And so I moved to Michigan and I got to hang out. So, rest in peace, my man Proof from B12. That was my man, right? And Proof was my guy. So we used to kick it, man. I was on this radio station out there, 91.5 CJAM, CJ. And so we were on the radio, and Proof used to come through and spit his freestyles. And so obviously the first time I met M, Proof was like, he'd be like, yo, this is my man. And we used to kick it and have a lot of fun, man. And the hip hop shop on 7 Mile, we used to get it. And I say that as to say that those 93 was so groundational, things before it went mainstream, but it's those events that were really setting the table, those events that the door wasn't open for us. But what we were doing is we were, collecting a concerted movement ideology, identity to say, hey, listen, this is who we are. This is what we stand for. This is what we represent. So this door is closed right now, but every day we get stronger. Right. Yeah. And that's why I say, relating that to now what Kerry said earlier about the cultural renaissance, whereas, it's cool to be in a committed relationship. Right? I don't want to be a PIMP with a golden stick and all that. Like, I don't want that. I'm not bringing, right? I'm not bringing sand to the beach. I'm bringing my diamond to the mud pit, right? Right? We have to have an identification that is consistent with the successful cultivation, maintenance, and upward trajectory of a culture, right? Yeah. Yes. Right now, it's about everything is self-destruction, right? Everything now is self-destruction. Everything now is short-lived. Everything I call Black culture vacation culture, right? All we're allowed to do is party, get drunk, you get high. That's it. You can't talk about your mortgage, right? I'm like, oh man, I got this. Look, nobody's talking in their rap about their mortgage, about paying their responsibilities and their life insurance policy, right? That's not cool, right? They're talking about how high and how many girlfriends
or having
they
to
got.
take care of aging parents, or real life stuff.
Like real life, right? They don't, it takes a village. Nobody rapping about the village. The village has disappeared. Poof, right? What happened to the village?
But Kerry, Kerry Lee, you speaking about something. What do you feel from your perspective, being in radio, being in music? You see what's about to happen now. Tariq Nasheed comes out with his new, mic check. And, back in the day, they used to say, come from Jamaica. And I knew it didn't come from Jamaica. I knew rap didn't come. I knew that. I knew Cool Herc. But I knew that we as Jamaicans used to come to America and study America and bring back the music and start remixing it. But I knew that. But, people was going with it because I was there with African Bambaataa. Matter of fact, me and him and a few other people drove to Washington, D.C. back there for the hip-hop the first hip hop conference back in the day. So I was there in the 90s, back in those days. What do you think about what Tariq Nasheed is doing with his new film that he's about to bring out? You might check.
Well, I think that what's most important about the cultural observation is the conversation that it inspires, right? Yeah. I think that we need to have discussion about it. I always tell people no, that's not what I heard, or that's not my experience. Well, what's most important, the byproduct is the tone of the conversation and communication that we're able to have with each other because it struck a chord, right? The thing that amazes me about contemporary times is that we think that everybody's supposed to have the exact same perspective on everything that we do? Like what? Exactly. Seasoning for the soup. It's the distinctions in these perspectives and experiences. Those distinctions is what gives our life, our society flavor, our culture flavor. We're different, right? Yeah. Not different, wrong or right, just different.
That's right.
Right? And we, there's going to be a parameter to that. I understand it. I acknowledge it. But that those parameters are discussed and probed through conversation and communication engagement. Right.
I just wish there's no disrespect of each other, F.E.V.A. or calling you a tether and all that kind of stuff, because we don't need to do the disrespecting. And that's where it's going. And I wish it would just, all right, look, let's acknowledge that hip hop came from here. You even got hip hop artists that goes back into the 40s. I got that, but it doesn't have to be disrespecting what Jamaica has done, what Trinidad has done, what anybody has done. And adding on to the puzzle of music, because it's just 7 notes, and you just created all this beautiful music, from classical to reggae to dancehall to hip hop to all of these things.
Yes,
let's just respect each other for our creativity.
I love it. Yeah, right. I love it. The first time we heard Buju Banton walk like a champion over, over what was it, the Ice Cube? What was that? It was that, that remix. I felt like that you felt the unification. Everybody agreed. That remix was like, yo, that hits. That's it right there. That's proper. You could tell that the meshing of the cultures, it was harmonious and it was celebrated from all facets. And so, it works sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. And for those, shout out DJ Khaled, that last Khaled Buju joint, that was hot garbage. Yeah. But my point is that
that was a quick one.
But you gotta appreciate the attempt, right? It's a cultural exploration, right?
Right.
I tell people, what makes dating fun? When you first meet somebody, what makes it fun? It's the exploration. It's the unknown. It's like, you don't know what you don't know till you know it, right? And even in the book, when we talk a little bit of relationship talk, it's like it's good to have your favorite restaurant, your date night, but if you do the same thing, that's the definition of insanity. Yeah. Doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting different results, right? And so even if you try something different, even if it's horrible, you guys can laugh and say, hey, remember that time you suggested that restaurant? Oh my goodness, that was horrible. Man, you wrong for that one. You lost. Your restaurant selection privileges have been revoked. They've been revoked. Right? So it's about exploration, about talking about that which it makes us different, but that which makes us different is that which we have in common. That we have differences, right? And the exploration of those differences is why, if we knew exactly what our life was going to provide day after day, month after month, step after step, what would almost be the point of living it, right? We'd be bored all over our skull, right?
Yeah.
It's the unknown, right? That's what the joy and the fruit of life is, the unknown, the exploration. I'm going to put in everything I can. Let me see what I get out of it, right? How high is that plant going to grow? I don't know, but I'm going to keep on watering it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Keep watering it.
Yeah, that's all I can do. All we can do is what we can do. We focused on, the outcome, and I get that, but all you can do is your best. Whether you finish first or last, if you did your best, you finished where you were destined to finish. Like, what can you say? Right?
And that's all about like really living in the moment and appreciating all of where you are at every stage.
Right. And then you add into that equation all the people trying to throw divots and little rocks under your feet and stuff like that, right? So it's like, there are going to be people who are trying to dissuade you from, your destiny and trying to slow you down. But again, for us, as long as you focus on the finish line and not the distractions, right? And that's the weapons of mass deception and accidental intentions, right?
Exactly. That's the
right. Making it look like an accident. Yeah.
When is the release date?
Yeah.
So I will come back on. I will say that it's been slated for the fall, right?
Okay.
It's slated on the fall, and it's in process right now. There's similar to the transactional, interactional, experience that we had there earlier. Like, yeah, we're gonna have to take that part out. We're gonna have to.
You did it with a
see if we can, you know, and I get it, right? Like for me, it's really just about bringing people together, not alienating. It's certainly some somber and some tough discussions, conversations that have to happen. But it is what it is, and I feel like the difficult conversations are the most important ones.
Yeah.
Right. So we can't slide, over them. I tell people, if you lift the carpet and throw the dust under there, the garbage under there, 10 years later, guess what happens when you lift up that carpet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's there waiting for you, right? And so we say that you take the garbage. You put it in the plastic bag, take it to the curb, right? Take it to the curb, never to be seen again. A lot of people, they hold on to their garbage, right? They hold on to that emotional residue. They hold on to why we have so much challenge and discord even within our own families, right?
Yeah.
We're not perfect. We're not going to be perfect, right? But we're hoping that people are, atone for their imperfections and acknowledge and receive and accept them and apologize where necessary, and most importantly, grow, right? So we don't repeat them. Right?
Yes,
sweep it under the carpet. Sweep it under the carpet. It's still there, right? And that's the problem with a lot of us. We leave it under the carpet and it starts to stink and smell, and you wonder why things are just again incongruent. And and then that's what it is. So we encourage growth and maturity and the exploration of a culture that is reciprocal, right?
Yeah.
That is sustainable. That you don't have to be drunk all the time to be happy. That there are other outlets that you can indulge in that will bring you in a much higher level of return on your happy quotient, right? If you know how to employ it. Where do you pour your energy? Where do you pour your time? How do you allocate your resources, right? And in within yourself, and understanding how to prioritize yourself. And it's something for me that it's been a long time coming, and it's taken a couple turns here or there. And like I said, I've had a little bit of seasoning from different individuals who I've been able to spend time with. And Mike Tyson, that time was, you getting, inspirational, motivational, contextual, insight from Mike, right? That dude is brilliant. That dude is just, but life experience, right? When you've lived it and you've seen it, the revelation that you get from it, right? It's not what they say or do to you that determines your success, trajectory, vibration, level. It's how you respond to it. What is your takeaway? What did you learn? Did you elevate because of it, right? Yes. And sometimes we have to go to our deepest depths to reach our highest heights.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Any other questions you wanted to ask, Kerry, before we let our brother do his thing? Yeah. Any more questions?
No.
All right, well, let's give him a round of applause.
A full round of applause. You just gave us so much gems, and I'm really excited about this book. It sounds
Yes.
very, very, very dense with yummy goodness.
It's fun. It's
yeah.
fun. It's not preachy. It's nice. It's like, hey man, did you know what hat was? Yes.
Yeah.
I was there, and what Sean Paul was there too, and what hat was, but they didn't really talk about that. You know, that was a situation. Yeah, that was,
right.
Yeah. But my brother, thank you so much for coming on, man, and sharing your wisdom and sharing your life from out of Canada and all over the travels that you made. So enough respect to you all the time.
Thank you, Kerry.
Please follow him and look out for his new book. Follow him on IG, Step After Dark on IG. Still follow him. He got his new book that's about to come out towards the fall. So we're going to show that love and show that respect to him. I'll bring him back on again to talk about it. This time he'll have the book. I love reading. So I remember meeting Gil Scott Heron years ago at SOBs when I was working there. He said, young man, do you read? I said, yes, sir. And he gave me both of his books. He gave me Vulture, and he gave me the other one. He gave me the other book too. So Gil Scott signed my 2 books and gave it to me.
Oh, amazing.
Thank you.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, hey guys, thanks for having me, and I'm looking forward to doing it again. Let's do it again for sure.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
All right, take care. Take care. All right.
Bye.
That was good. We had a good time.
Yes.
Good time. Family, follow him on IG. It's scrolling on the bottom here. Steps After Dark. Steps _after_dark. Just go get and follow him. And he got the book coming out. Thank you very much, Kerry, for the introduction. And where did you meet him at? One of the festivals?
Oh, he's been a contact of mine for years. I don't even know. We've known each other through like different circles.
Because you're in marketing too. You're in marketing also. So you've been doing your thing.
Yeah, it had not really because of that. Just the people we know.
Okay. Good. Well, thank you very much. Family, please like and subscribe and share. We just had the great brother on, man. Kerry Lee Crawford did a great job. We had a great job with him. And remember, next Wednesday, not next Wednesday. Is it next Wednesday? Yeah, it's next Wednesday. Yeah, look at my calendar. Yeah, I'm doing so much. There's so much up there.
I know. You're like, hold on, wait.
What may I do? What may I do this week? It's the truth, man. You just know. But next Wednesday, we have this beautiful sister right here, the one, the only Dr. Sunyata Amen will be here with us. For that, here on the 19th, we're going to have Sister Nairobi Vision going to be in the girl. Thank you very much for coming on as usual, now being a part of the journey. Remember, you can follow her also on her Instagram and also on her YouTube channel. I was scrolling that in between also during the show. I was scrolling her YouTube. There it is, scrolling right there, YouTube. YouTube.com/at Kerry-Ann Ingram is broadcasting there, and also on your Facebook and IG too, right? Or just on your YouTube and IG? Just YouTube and IG?
YouTube and IG. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But thank you very much. You all right? What you doing for the rest of the evening?
I'm gonna go to my no. I know that would be a cool song. See, then just leave a space and then someone has to fill it in. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm trying to be more active.
Okay.
Like more. So I am. That's on my agenda. Just around the block, just before I go to bed. Yeah.
Okay, that's important. I walk on my treadmill. When I leave this house, unless I leave.
No, you have to go outside, bed. You cannot live in the backyard. No, you live in such a beautiful rustic. Go for a walk, and when you do, send the energies of the tree and the forest to me, because that's like old.
Yeah, I got a whole lot of that in my backyard here. So I go there and hug a tree for you and hug a few trees and kiss it and say, hey, you must go see Kerry-Ann in Canada. Yeah, but thank you very much, Kerry-Ann, and for being your great self. And go ahead, take your walk before it gets too dark. And
it's still, look, can you wait? You can't see.
Not yet, no. Oh,
See, it's not that dark.
Yeah, it's starting to it's getting dark out here. So, but we obviously so. But you, my dear, enjoy your walk and think great things, and remember to manifest great things also. Okay. All right. That's how Kerry-Ann Ingram from the Healing Vybez Show. All right. That's our dear Kerry-Ann right here. Do remember also this coming Sunday, I got a double header. I got Healing Takes Work with the one, the only Adara Moselle, the tantric healer and shaman. She's going to be on with me Sunday at 12:12 in the afternoon. And then I have Sister Keisha coming in, big sister in a big sister in the fashion world, the changing industry of fashion and its politics. We're going to be speaking about that. If you don't know who Sister Keisha is, boy, woo, y'all messing up. Sister Keisha been doing her work with the UAM back in the day. She's just been part of every little thing. So Keisha is going to be in the building. Like we said, Dr. Sunyata's coming in on Wednesday. And I will be at this event helping out Adara Moselle. If you want tickets for this one called Stop the Fighting, Elevate Intimacy, I will be one of the guest speakers using numbers and how to elevate the intimacy through your numbers and your connection, your astronumerology and your numerovation. That's adaramoselle.com/events -1. That's her website right there. You want to find out more about this event happening in Atlanta, Georgia. Vendors are welcome and all of that is welcome. So make sure you come on out. It's going to be a great, great event on the 15th of June. That's June the 15th, Ice Cube's birthday. And then on Wednesday, on the 19th, we're bringing Nairobi Vision into the Healing Vybez Show. And do remember, go get your tickets. Go get your tickets for the Forbidden Knowledge second annual Forbidden Knowledge Conscious Award. Go to the website, forbiddenKnowledge.com/second annual Forbidden Knowledge Conscious Award. Make sure you vote for your brother, 954-245-0086. Text that number right now, 954-245-0086. And don't forget, Brother Rich got the big event coming up. I'm one of the MCs for both days, Saturday, August the 10th, and Sunday, August the 11th. And it's from 12:30 to 9 p.m. both days. Dr. Jewel Pookrum, Sister Myra Moss, and Queen of Four at the New Black Wall Street over there at 8109 Mall Parkway, Stonecrest, Georgia. For more information, you could go to the Eventbrite, Black Magic Eventbrite, or contact him via Rich in Merit at Yahoo. And remember, the event price is only for the whole weekend is $111 for the whole weekend. You can purchase your tickets through gatheringofthemasters.eventbrite.com. Get your tickets via that. Gathering of the Masters at .eventbrite.com. You know, Phil Valentine was available. He would be there, but he can't make it because he's taking care of his wife, and I understand. Also, big up to Dr. Shakira and Dr. Nilani. They're doing their thing tomorrow, I believe, or tonight. It's either tonight or tomorrow. I think it's tonight. Right now, they're doing something coming up, so make sure you respect them. Remember the tickets. I'm doing a double day too, so I might do the same price for both days. Also, I start off with early bird tickets, but by the time for those 2 days, it's going to cost the same amount, $11.11. I'm telling you, it's going to cost the same amount by the time because that's actually like $55 a day, but it's going to, by the time I'm going to give early bird tickets by $25, but by the time we get to the actual month of October, it will be $11.11 for both days also. So tribute to Dick Gregory with Dr. B passing through to speak, Brother Rich, Red Pill, Blue Pill, and then more than likely we're working on doing a comedy show, Libation by Tassili, and of course a comedy show by Dick Gregory's nephew, Mark Gregory. And then the next day we have Baba Ashra Kwesi and Mirara Kwesi on the 13th. That's going to be profound. If you're in New York and you need some good recording studio work, contact Green Studio NYC. My son and brother Jeff doing their thing over there in New York. Contact them through the website and tell them King Simon sent you. Just mention King Simon for their advertisement rate. We just had Kerry-Ann. Make sure you support Kerry-Ann-Ingram.com. That's Kerry-Ann-Ingram.com. That's Kerry-Ann-Ingram.com from energy work, tarot, and jewelry. And don't forget Lloyd Strayhorn, man. Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. Hit him up, Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. And don't forget Nina Diamond, Nina Dunham, Cardology, Astrology, and Numerology. Go ahead and book a session with the sister. If you want her to do consultation, you want to take their classes, go to levinuniversity.com, levinuniversity.com, or go to her YouTube page. That's Diamond8, or her Instagram is diamonds_8. Big up to Dr. Shakira Moore. Hit her up at Linktree/King Simon. I'm about to say my Linktree. Linktree/Holistica Healer. That's Linktree/Holistica Healer. She does iridology, nutritional advisor, and she is a spiritual teacher and guide. And big up to Dr. Karima King, Temple of Regeneration. Going to be big now, templeofregeneration.com. Go to the website. She does therapy, spa therapy, stretches therapy, energetic healing, body work, all of that. Hit her up at templeofregeneration.com. And big up to the one, the only spiritual consultation with the one, the only Amira. Hit her up at 802-294-2801. She'll be with Lloyd Strayhorn this Saturday and Sunday at Nicholas Brooklyn. She'll be there doing some cartomancy. So if you want some cards regular playing cards read from that perspective, the cartomancy specialist, she will be there this coming Saturday or Sunday with Lloyd Strayhorn and Unc Rising Sun. So that's going to be big. And don't forget, if you want to book a session with me, I got like 10 slots left. 347-496-1022. 10 slots left for next week. That's 347-496-1022. If you want to book a session with me, a 30-minute session with me, believe me, I'm about motivating you with your numbers and make it work. Remember, if you are on Udemy, udemy.com/course, take my 2-hour course at udemy.com/course. Holistic Numerovation. That's the course right there. Or just go to the search engine and put Numerovation. Don't put numerology, put Numerovation. I'm the only one that's going to pop up with Numerovation. I'm the only one using that word. All right. And do remember, get all my books through Amazon and Kindle. And remember, you can go to my Linktree/King Simon the Numerovator. And this new book is about to come out. We are handling some details, but I already got the proof for it. Everything is looking good, and I can't wait to put this children's book out. It's the colors for me, man. It's the pictures. Thank you to Rainbow Art. And the audio book is still being edited. More than likely, I got to finish it with my son. It just, both of us are working, and we both working and doing what we got to do, all right? All right, remember what Dr. B says. I forgive myself, my family, and others for imperfection, and I'm thankful for my life. And remember what Dr. Blair says. Please, Universal Creator, know in my heart that I love you. Please protect me and this planet on which I live now. Please open my mind, my spirit, and my soul to receive only truth in your love now. I want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of this healing vibe journey. Myself and Kerry-Ann are honored to have you, honored to have enjoyed you. I want to thank again Kerry Lee Crawford for coming on from out of Toronto, Canada, the whole crew out there. And remember, tune in this coming weekend as I bring on Sister Adara Moselle and the one, the only Keisha Forrester. Sister Keisha will be on with us. Have a great day, afternoon, or evening. Be safe, be great, and be your numerovational self and be your healing vibe self also. Peace and love. Take care. Content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed.
King Simon, I love him. He's family, and he has one of the top shows on the Forbidden Knowledge TV network, actually. That's right. So make sure you guys check that out if you haven't.
Yeah, his show is called, it was really based on numerovation. It's a numerology show, and it's called How to Calculate Your Destiny.
Yes.
by King Simon. He's the host of the show. The show has done so well, we're now getting ready to start working on filming season 2. All right, so King Simon, one of the top shows on Forbidden Knowledge TV, streaming TV platform.
New Motivation with King Simon. Text me now at 347-496-1022. You could also take my course if you want to, but do text me for your sessions at 347-496-1022. You could also get my books on Amazon at Linktree/King Simon the New Motivator. Remember, you can book your session and get it done right now. 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. King Simon the New Motivator.